This was actually the first picture that I took on this trip after around 4 or 5 hours of hiking already, because you pretty much walk through the night, so you can see the sunrise on top of the volcano. And that's already the top of Santa Maria. You can see people standing there with their tents and little fires. Some people were sleeping there actually, because it might be too exhausting for you to hike up all the way to nearly 4,000 meters in one go. So some people decide to sleep the night before and just work it up in 2 days. And yeah, that's the reward that you get, an amazing sunrise. Well, of course, it's all depending on weather. We had really, really bad weather when I walked up there. And just for sunrise, the clouds finally moved away a little bit, and it was just amazing. You can still see the clouds in the background, everything completely covered in orange. And there are volcanoes everywhere in Guatemala, pretty much. And it's you can see really in every direction you look. Like this is in a volcano as well, for instance. It's one of the volcanoes near Guatemala City. And this volcano down there, it's very close to Santa Maria. It's the active one. So it's pretty much always kind of erupting in a small way, at least. Sometimes you also have some bigger eruptions. And some people actually go to that volcano, but that's a bit risky. So the safer option is to go to Santa Maria and see it from the top. And just enjoy the views up there. A bit of a close-up here. So you don't really want to go all the way down there. That would be a bit dangerous for sure. But from up high, I would say you're around nearly 800 meters higher from this point. You have a really nice view, and this is the summit here from Santa Maria, with the sun shining on it now. As you can see, a lot of people. It's a very common hike to do. We've done it as a one-day trip, so we hiked the night. I think it took around 4.5 hours or so. Of course, it depends on your level of fitness. If you're really fit, you will make it a bit faster. If you're not that fit, it will take a bit longer. Having a bit of fun here with the silhouettes after sunset. And as you can see, it's all above the clouds, which is always amazing if you're high in the mountains and you have the clouds hovering below you. I love these moments. And actually the views cleared up quite a lot. As you can see here, on this side we had a bit more clouds, and then walking back into the forest. This is one of my favorite pictures actually, with the sun shining through the forest on the right side, and you got all of these nice light rays. I really actually this was like nearly my highlight of that trip already. But of course the sunrise was really amazing too. I've got a small video as well. Before I show you, that's some people walking up. They were a bit late, so they were not in time for sunrise for sure. But I just love that huge guitar that he had, and it looks like kind of not a serious instrument, but that's a serious instrument there. It's just a bit bigger. Probably self-made as well. And it's just a small video clip. I'm gonna mute the audio because it's all oh yeah, you can see the clouds here, how quickly they are coming in and out. I have the copyright protected music there, sadly. It's a lot of people just waking up for the sunrise.
At Volcan Santa Maria now, and it's finally clearing up a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of copyright music afterwards, so I can't show the whole thing. Massive guitar, yeah. It was a really big one for sure. I wonder how it sounds. Sadly, he didn't really play too much for us. Very shaky footage here. As I said, this is a kind of an old trip. Didn't really know what I was doing back then. Nowadays, I would just put some more effort into less shakier shots. But yeah, I wanted to show you some video as well. For moving on to the next volcano here, Akatenango, and that's the highlight. It's nearly 4,000 meters. It's a bit harder to hike up there, and with Akatenango, you really have to be careful which guide you're using, because I've heard stories, I'm not sure if they're true, but I've heard stories that some of the bigger tour companies, the commercial ones, so pretty much the ones that can I put this? The ones that like to make the most money. Sometimes they're targeted by kind of bandit groups, and the tourists get robbed there. That happens in Guatemala for sure. So it's always a kind of a risk. And because I was kind of hanging out with the locals, they told me that I should go with the local guides as well. And this is the house from one of the local guides. And I got through him to one of my couch surfing friends in the area. So he doesn't even have a website or anything. Also, I don't really have his phone number anymore. Sadly, I can't hook you up with him if you plan to go there yourself. But all I want to say is that if you go there, maybe don't go with the big famous companies, because you might be a bit safer off doing it with a local guide. It's not that much more expensive. It's a bit more expensive because, you know, it's just one guy, and with the big companies you have a lot of people going up and down and more tourists, of course. So you might have to pay a little bit more, but it should be a bit safer. So that's really good as well. Yeah, and then you hike up for a long time. It's a bit higher than Santa Maria even. It's kind of a funny picture here with the Volcan sign. Volcan to the right. All right, let's go there. And I was just completely alone with that guy. You can see him sitting there. I'll have some close-up pictures of him as well. Didn't speak English, and my Spanish was really bad. So I had this kind of gringo Spanish. I can say things like, hey, estoy buscando un lugar para tomar una cerveza. Or ¿dónde está el autobús para Medellín? Some stuff like that. So very easy sentences. But if I do small talk, for instance, it's kind of stopping there. But yeah, I could communicate with him, luckily. You can see him here again. He's a bit hiding in there. That's like the path going up. And we were always, we talked about football a lot, but always like, oh, me gusta football. And he was always doing like some whistling, you know, in specific areas. Like every 45 minutes or so, he would do some weird whistling. It was like, really, my Spanish was not good enough to ask him, why are you doing this? My assumption is that maybe he's kind of communicating with the bad, like with the people that robbed the other groups. I'm not sure. But yeah, we were safe for sure. Nothing happened for us. And the only danger here was also just kind of making sure that you get up there on time, because it's mentally or physically quite hard, especially if you walk through these loose volcanic rocks. As you can see in the picture, you pretty much take a step and then you slide down a tiny bit, and it just takes a bit more effort to get up there. Luckily, I was in a good shape, and yeah, actually, he asked me for some breaks every now and then, so I had to wait for him a little bit. That's his little doggy, Perro. And you climb higher and higher, and eventually you get to the very top. And at the very top, you get some really cool views. Like this is the crater of Akatenango at just around 4,000 meters. It's not an active volcano anymore. I think the last eruption was like 50 years ago or so. So you can't really look down into the lava or anything. But the good thing is you can actually use that fact and sleep on that volcano. You don't sleep on the very top, because from here you don't have a good view on the Volcán de Fuego, which is one of the most active volcanoes in Central America. So kind of walk around the caldera there, and then on the other side, just here somewhere in the back, you go down again. Yeah, this is another picture of me standing at the top there. And yeah, my guide kind of waiting for me to take my pictures. I'm really fast walker, but I am I take a lot of time for pictures and videos, so that's slowing me down a little bit as well. You can actually see his dog here. Nice. And this is the shadow on the right side. Right side, you can see the shadow of the Akatenango. So this is the shadow of the volcano that I'm standing on right now. I really like this picture as well. He was doing his whistling stuff there once more. And so this is all really kind of... as I said, it's not a commercial tour. So it was just him and his dad. He prepared the campsite. So while we were walking there, his dad was kind of at the campsite already and preparing some food, preparing a fire. But But it's just a two-man team pretty much. Another picture with a doggy. And as I said, there are volcanoes everywhere. I think in the background that's Volcan Aqua, if I remember that correctly, but I would have to check it up to be sure. Yeah, here we can already see a small eruption on the left side. So this is actually a fresh eruption from Fuego. But as you can see, the view is not perfect yet. So we're going to slide down a little bit along the side. And then we're going to have a much better view on that volcano. So this is on the way down now. Again, this loose volcanic rock where you really, yeah. Downhill it's kind of nice. And we were sliding down actually. You can go down quite fast. Like on this part we were sliding down. And now we're getting into this foresty area already. And you can see on the right side now, that's the Volcan Fuego, which we're going to see at night. And my guide, he was climbing up. He's here in the tree now with his machete. He had this big machete. And he was gathering some firewood for our campfire. And this is already at the campsite. So we met up with his daddy, who put on the fire already here. There was a small eruption just after I took the photo, and they're setting up my tent. And then we were chilling at the fire, and then the show starts, guys. And that was so amazing. It was the first time for me to see a volcano, like a massive volcano erupt like that. And this is a really bad picture. You can see it's super grainy, but I didn't have a tripod, sadly, so this is all handheld shots. And if you know something about photography, you know you should have a tripod and do some long exposure shots. But man, the volcano was pretty much always kind of glowing in red, but every 30 minutes or so there was a big eruption like that one. And then the ground would be shaking a little bit, and you see this. God, it's hard to describe in words, because you have to imagine there are rocks falling out, or rocks being shot out from that volcano, and they have the size of a truck, you know, and just incredible. This is the Volcan Aqua again, I think, also viewed from my campsite, and yeah, that's pretty much the view from my tent. I tried to sleep, and every couple of minutes there was like the ground shaking again, and the fire load ultimate, and you can kind of feel, oh my god, there's like another eruption, and then you can't help but watch it all the time. I think I've seen like 20 of them or so, and then it was around 3:30 in the night, and I decided, okay, let's really try to get some sleep now. And yeah, as I said, it's just amazing. I'm a bit sad that I didn't have a tripod and a shit camera. I should really go back sometime and take some really good pictures from that place. But that's one of these experiences where I'm really glad that I could see them firsthand and experience it live, because stuff like that, that's why I'm traveling, you know. It's amazing. And then the next morning, oh my god, the next morning had one of the prettiest sunrises ever. So this is the sunrise in the next morning, again with Volcan Aqua, I think, on the left side. And you have the nice kind of pink color still around just before the sun comes up. And that was just overall one of the coolest days in Guatemala for sure. And then it's time to go back down. This is the Volcan Fuego, how it looks during the day. So when it erupts during the day, I have some video footage from that as well on my longer video, which is sadly not on YouTube because I used the copyright protected music. But it's just kind of like, yeah, dark ash coming out. But you can only see like the real show only happens at night. Yeah, then it's time to go down. We had another fire because it was actually really cold still. It doesn't look so cold, but it was freezing cold. Yeah, that's my guide actually. I asked him to put it up so I can take a photo from it. So you can see it's really still really cold. I really like this shot as well. I love the colors, the contrast with that tree in the foreground, and then the misty volcano in the background. That's actually one of my favorite pictures, that trip. Yeah, and then you walk back down. That's a huge tree that I saw on the way down. I'm not sure if I can read that sign still. Kumun? Some Kanak? What? Kanak? I don't know. It's a funny word if you think about it in German, but I'm not sure what it means in Spanish. Yeah, and to round this up, I have a small video for you guys from the eruption with the sound, so let's listen to that. The sound is always a bit delayed, just like with the thunder. Yeah, and that's it, guys. So, I hope you liked my story about the volcanoes in Guatemala. Definitely something I would highly recommend do if you're in the area whenever we can travel again. Hopefully soon. That's it for today. I'm gonna stick around here on the live stream with my chat, and I'm gonna answer all the questions in the chat. But for all the YouTube guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna link some more videos here in the top right corner for you, and maybe you want to join us next Monday at 8 p.m. again, CET.